And we are back. You were listening to Full Metal Attack here on WICR, and I am, of course, your host with the most, Nick Grippo, better known from all of my Facebook hashtags when I post my stuff for people to listen to the show, Reagan Smash. Of course, this week I am not joined by the Condor, Pete Considori. As I mentioned, he is off doing the drums for an event at Concordia College for a friend of his who has a musical thesis to do. And, I've been talking about WrestleMania all weekend because it was a big deal. Pete always talks about it as hockey stuff. We'll get to some sports stuff hopefully later on in a little bit. And just for purposes of time, I didn't realize how much I was talking for. But nevertheless, got the show started a little bit late today. I do want to talk a little bit about, briefly, commencement fair. And for those of you who, I turned the knob up all the way to 10 at the student union, so let's see if anybody's listening. I just want to say congratulations to the class of 2014. It was kind of like one of those days where it's finally setting in that I'm going to be graduating in a couple of weeks, and it's really kind of bizarre in a couple of months when it's September, October, and I'm not going to school. I do plan perhaps in the future to go to grad school, but right now I'm more concerned with getting my foot in the door, maybe doing an internship, entry-level job somewhere, and trying to get out, quote-unquote, into the real world. And for me, one of the biggest things for graduation that I find to be really cool is that we're graduating in Madison Square Garden. Now, for some, it may not be a big deal. For me, it's a big deal. Not only as a fan of professional wrestling, but as also a sports fan. The Madison Square Garden, there's an old saying, the Garden is the Garden is the Garden. It is the mecca of sports entertainment. It is the mecca of professional wrestling. It is the mecca of any kind of sports, and music as well. You have the New York Knicks, New York Rangers, called Madison Square Garden their home. Billy Joel is now, I believe, an official franchise at Madison Square Garden. Every band, from your Billy Joels, as I said, to your Elton Johns, your Led Zeppelins, I think you probably, like Rod Stewart's. Anyone who's anyone has played Madison Square Garden, whether it be the theater in Madison Square Garden or the whole, arena Madison Square Garden. And to graduate out of it, to me, is just going to be really, really cool. I feel. I actually was telling Pete earlier, before he had to leave to take care of his business, I've actually played Madison Square Garden. Back in sophomore year of high school, I was approached by a gentleman named Willie Olenek. Well, actually, I think I was approached by my band director, Andrew Seligson. And he informed me that Willie Olenek, who I believe was the musical director at Roosevelt High School in Yonkers, although it might have been Gorton High School, not 100% sure. I think it was Roosevelt, because the practices were held at Roosevelt. There was I don't remember the name of the event, but it was like a coaches versus cancer type of event. And what we were going to do was we were going to perform for the Memphis Tigers. We were going to act as their pep band for the event. It was a 2-night tournament of 4 teams at Madison Square Garden. And I was selected from all the high schools in Yonkers to be part of this super group, for lack of a better word, of musicians who were going to be playing Madison Square Garden. And I remember getting on that bus. We got outside the garden. We got backstage at Madison Square Garden. I got to see where all the conferences, the post-game conferences were conducted. And it's really, it's really an eye-opening experience, a really cool experience for anyone who's never done it. It's just so, like I said, bizarre. And then to go out at Madison Square Garden and actually perform in Madison Square Garden, looking up at that roof, that, maybe, in terms of sporting arenas, the most recognizable roof in all of sports. Like, if you show a picture of just the roof, you know exactly what the arena is. It's the Garden. So it's going to be really cool to graduate out of the Garden. All right, so we're going to take a quick commercial break, and we're going to come back, and we're going to hear a set of, I guess, a little bit of a mishmash of songs. I tried to mask the lack of a partner this week by just talking a little bit longer than I probably should have, but nevertheless, we're going to hear some commercials, and when we come back, we're going to hear a mishmashed set of stuff that I know is mission consistent, and that I will be playing for your listening pleasure. We will be back shortly with Full Metal Attack here on WICR.
Hey everyone, I'm Pete Considori, WICR President and MassCom Senior. There's great things happening in MassCom. Check out NorthAvenueNation.com for the latest student work. North Avenue Nation covers things happening on and off campus, featuring terrific interviews by MassCom students with Eli Manning, Victor Cruz, Bernie Williams, Rob Astorino, and Nia Vardalos. Also, WICR is now streaming online on Live365.com and Ustream.com. Just search WICR.
WICR.
Hello everyone, this is Gregory Kasimis from the Metro Deli in Scarsdale. The Metro Deli has been part of the Westchester community for over 10 years. We always use the freshest and highest quality ingredients for all our dishes and catering events. Our breakfast features bagels with freshly sliced Nova. Don't miss out our thick challah French toast. For lunch, grab a booth and enjoy one of our oversized salads or our freshly cut hot deli sandwiches. We're open 7 days a week, where the coffee is always hot and freshly brewed.
You're listening to WICR, Iona College Radio.
In the last 2 hours, I've lost my job, my apartment, my car,